At the group therapy, I bawled my eyes out because the guy was super mean and threatening. He said, "I don't want anyone around my vicinity. I'm telling you, move." And he was really threatening, and he was tall, blonde, and muscular, and he had some types of bones on the back next to him. I am not making this up. He had huge, like, femurs, bones of something. Hello cookies, it's Siri. I am back, and today we are talking. I just got back from the last session of group therapy after 16 weeks and I feel amazing. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's because the therapy was just perfect and it has fixed all my life problems and things like that. No, it feels amazing because I have never missed a single session. Every Friday from 1:30 to 3.5 hours, 4 hours, depending on how long it takes. I have been late twice, but I dare say generally that the 2 times that I was late, it was not my fault. One, the Uber driver got lost, and it's not even that hard to get there from here. Even I saw that he was getting lost, but he did not listen to me, so I was 20 minutes late. And the second time I had an incident with the bus controllers because they accused me of lying about being a student, and they gave me a fine of $160 that I had to pay, and I tried to contest it, but they were not listening, and they embarrassed me in front of everybody. They're both on the bus and outside the bus, and they never listened to me when I said, "I have an appointment in 10 minutes, can we please walk and do it at the same time?" And they never let me go, so I almost missed the appointment. I was only 2 minutes late, but I was really irritated because I was actually early. Also, after that incident with the bus controllant people, I decided to boycott the bus company, and there is only one bus company here in Stockholm, and so ever since then I've been walking, and it's extremely hot outside. Stockholm is going through some type of heat wave at the moment, and walking in the sun for 2 kilometers is not very easy, especially since I have a huge backpack and we have a lot of homework that I carry with me. I could show you the black thingy, but it's in my bag right now. And so carrying that, and usually I'm way too overdressed because when I leave the house, it's, I don't know, 17 degrees, but by the time I'm walking, it's 25, 26, and I'm carrying a backpack and too much clothes. And also, for those of you who don't know, I hate walking. That is one of the worst things. I freaking hate walking. I don't understand when people go on walks just to feel good. I go on walks with my dog to spend time with her or to let her go to the bathroom or something. There's a purpose. I walk to go to therapy, but I don't understand the whole I walk because it's fun. Hiking is a different thing, or if you're on a holiday and you walk in to see beautiful scenery and historical landscapes, then yes, I understand walking. But walking because you think that it's fun, oh, it's the worst thing. I just can't stand walking. It's for the last 4 or 5 sessions I've been walking, and I hate walking, but still I told myself, no, you're going to be committed, you're going to walk, you want the result of this therapy to help you for your professional life, private life, your intimate life, everything basically. And so I really was committed to it. And even before that, I have mentioned on here that I have a huge disgust and phobia, and I feel extremely uncomfortable on public transports. Going with Laika helps often, but I can't go with her to the therapy place. My ear is itching a lot, I'm not sure why. And so I've had to go by myself. And also that bus is the most crowded on Fridays between 12 and 14. That's the time when I usually take it, and it's really crowded, and I've had so many incidents on the bus from someone that has smeared number 2 all over the seat, and I saw it in the last minute. I was about to sit, but I saw that it was smeared everywhere, to a guy that was aggressively shouting at me on the bus. I cried when I arrived in therapy, and I told everyone there at the group therapy. I bawled my eyes out because the guy was super mean and threatening. Basically, the bus was extremely crowded, and I could not move in or move out. There were so many people that it was physically impossible to move by 1 or 2 steps because there were many people. And first of all, I have crowd anxiety. I freaking hate crowds. That's why I don't go to shopping malls, and I don't go to concerts, and I don't do those kinds of things. And it was extremely hot that day as well, and there is no aircon in the bus. At least that day there was no aircon. And it was so crowded that there were people standing next to the driver, which is unsafe, and technically you're not supposed to do it, but the bus was crowded. And so I was standing there, and there's this man seating that said, "You should move." And I said, "What?" He said, "I don't want anyone around my vicinity. I'm telling you, move." And he was really threatening, and he was tall, blonde, and muscular, and he had some types of bones on the bag next to him. I am not making this up. He had huge, like, femurs, bones of something, and he looked weird. And I said, there is no way I can move. Can't you see there are people in front of me and behind me? And he said, "I'm telling you for your own safety, because I'm not going to control myself." And he was yelling the whole time, and he was so aggressive, and everyone was staring at me on the bus. I was also scared because he was about to hit me. And so I turned around and I told the lady behind me, I said, "Can you please move back a little bit so I can move back a little bit?" And so she tried to move back, and I managed to move back a bit. And then later on I noticed that once I was seated, the guy did not do that to all the other people that came after me, so he was really just after me. And I'm not going to pull the R card because I don't like the R card, but at the same time I was thinking, okay, either he did not like the fact that I'm brown, or the fact that I'm a woman, or both, or something about me. I don't know why, because he did not have that outburst and aggressivity and rage towards anyone else. So once I arrived at therapy, I bawled my eyes out because I was shaken by the incident, and also I was so hurt because I did not understand, and I don't know how to react towards irrational people. And so everyone at therapy, the other participants and the 2 therapists, said that he was probably deranged. And at first I felt weak on the bus because I felt like I should have protected myself and said something. But then they said that it was smart to back away and not do anything, because someone that is so deranged and crazy and aggressive could have really hurt me physically or done things there. And so it made me feel better. But the number 2 everywhere, that guy doing that, the bus being crowded all the time, and then the controllers embarrassing me in front of everybody and making me late. And there have been many more incidents. I mean, those 16 times, like I said, the last 4 or 5 times I did not take the bus, but before that, maybe there's been an incident almost every second time I took the bus. I decided to just walk. And even despite the bus and the walking, and one more thing, I was very skeptical of doing a group therapy before it even started. I remember doing the interview with the 2 therapists to check whether I should get in or not. I was very clear to them. I said, I don't like group therapies and I would prefer being by myself. I don't like group stuff. I don't like team stuff, and I wish I could do this by myself. I'd never done it before, but it was still not really my thing. And so despite all those things, I told myself that I would be committed and try, and also you have to pay. At some point you reach an amount where you can get a free card, but before that I think I paid 300 crowns, which is about $30 every time, and you're going to say that's not that much, but I know how much I earn at my part-time job, and I'm telling you that $30 per session for group therapy is not a little. And even paying for the bus card as well, because I had to pay, and then the freaking fine, so it's not free either. Today we said our goodbyes with everybody, and I was the only one that did not cry, because for me, I'm just really proud of myself, and this video is to tell you things, cookies, to share this part of my life with you, but also for me to remember in the future, because we talked about it today on how to maintain the things you have learned, how not to forget those 16 weeks, because at the moment, we're all full of good intentions when we're thinking, I'm going to keep doing the homeworks, I'm going to keep writing down how I feel, I'm going to keep on sitting down with myself sometimes and just take care of myself, of my physical health, mental health, I'm going to do this and that. And it's easy once you're just done, you're full of good intentions. It's just like people that have so many intentions and ideas when it's January 1st about how they're going to lose weight, they're going to go to the gym 5 times a week, they're going to buy a cute outfit, so blah, 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 blah. And by March, usually the gyms are pretty much the same as they always are every year. At the beginning, they're very crowded, and then there's no one. So I'm not, so full of myself that I think I'm going to maintain all the great things I have learned through therapy, but at least I know that making this video will remind me of it in the future, because some of my old videos I watch every now and again, and I had totally forgotten I had done those things, traveled to those places, said those things, achieved things. And it's really good sometimes to look back and sit and look at your achievements. That is one of the things that I have learned and reinforced at therapy, that sometimes it's just okay to enjoy victories. We always focus on the things we don't have, the things we don't know, the things we haven't achieved. But cookies, we forget about the things that we have done right. And it's okay to sometimes just enjoy and sit down and think, let me give myself a pat on the back. I hope that my future self will look at this in a few months, in a few years, and remind herself, ooh, it's weird to talk about yourself in third person. I don't usually do that. But to remind myself that I was super committed despite all the freaking horrible things that happened in between. And for example, because I'm so stressed about the move to Berlin, I had one session, like I told you, when I did not do my homeworks. And by the way, when I say homework, I'm not talking about one small thing where you have to write one sentence a day. I'm talking about hundreds of pages of homeworks. There is a lot of homework. And before you start a group therapy, they tell you that it's expected you spend a couple of hours every day or every week on your homeworks. So there is only 1 week I did not do my homeworks properly, because I've been really stressed about the Berlin thing, and now I just decided that, despite all my stress, I'm going to do my homework. So I'm just very pleased about having done the therapy and the people I met, and it was fine to do a group therapy. I had so many preconceptions and no conceptions. I know it's weird, but I had both lots of ideas and no ideas on how it would go. And of course, for example, at the beginning, it's quite awkward. I think the first 3-4 sessions, and the therapist always tell us that, yes, don't be scared or don't be weirded out. It's awkward at first because you're there with a bunch of strangers, and for this to work, you have to pour your heart out. you have to do it seriously. And for me, when I do something, especially when I know it's something that is good for me, even though if it's uncomfortable, even though I might not want to be there, as in I want to do the therapy, but maybe that particular day I feel bad or I feel sad or hungry or too hot or too cold or something, if I tell myself I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this very seriously. The group therapy was not as bad as I expected, and also a freaking misconception that most of us at group therapy have met, or all of us, from people, is that people expect people that go through group therapy to be wrecks, as in to have public meltdowns and cry and roll on the floor and to have crazy addictions and to do terrible things and to have a debt of $100,000 or euros or something. People expect those kinds of people, as in me and the other people that did therapy with me, to be total wrecks and just not know anything about life and not know anything about anything. We all have different problems there, and even if there was not a contract about how we are not allowed to talk about other people's problems, I would not tell you what the others have, but I can just tell you, you would never expect from any single one of us, if you met us on the street or if you study with us or if you are colleagues with us, that we have things that we are working on, because we don't act as expected. And many of us have heard many people say things, and one of my classmates, for example, I say classmates, she had a literal doctor tell her that she's nice and friendly and she's acting normal for someone who would do a group therapy. And that is a freaking psychologist or psychiatrist that she met for the first time. And she told us that in group therapy because she was so shocked, and we were shocked, and our therapists were both shocked, and they said, okay, we have to report that. So even from medical professionals, they expect you to just be totally crazy. I, for once, at least I did not have that misconception, because I thought, I'm not totally crazy, as in I don't have crazy tendencies that would be totally out of how you should behave in society, so I don't have those tendencies. So if I'm there, there's probably people like me there. You know, it's just the same as people that say that everyone on Tinder sucks, but then they're also on Tinder. That's why I don't say everyone on Tinder sucks, or you only have psychos or bad guys or bad girls, because I know how I am and I know how most of the people I've met on there are. So you cannot just always generalize, and the same goes for group therapy. I don't think I'm going to cut this video because it is a conversation, and it is mostly for myself as well, to remember in the future and to tell you, cookies, that yes, I did it! I'm so happy! I did group therapy for 16 weeks, despite all the hurdles and everything. If you are thinking about going to group therapy, or if you are skeptical about group therapy, listen, the worst that could happen is that you hate it and then you just drop. We were 8 at the beginning. Were we 8 or 7? I think we were 8. 8 or 7. And now when we finished, we were 4. So there were 4 or 3 people that dropped. No, 3 people. So we were 7 at the beginning and we were 4 now that finished. It's hot, cookies, and I can't open the windows because I'm talking to you. That's why I'm dressed like this. My neighbor that is right opposite, she's naked at the moment, and I'm not going to be here on YouTube, but I'm also freaking dying over here. And so, yes, you have to deal with it. We are only 4 now that are left. And if you are thinking about going through group therapy, you can always try. And if you don't like it, you can always just drop. For most of us, we had waited 2 years before this group therapy, so it was extremely important. And unfortunately, it is very slow and hard to get help here when it comes to mental health, because there's a lack of doctors and there's a lack of hospitals and clinics that provide mental health things. So most of us, except from one girl, had waited at least 2 years to get into this group therapy. So if you're in this situation, or if you're in the situation where you have access to group therapy and you're considering it and thinking, oh, should I go, should I not go? Just try. The worst that could happen, you hate it and then you drop. It's not really a big issue. Now I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but if you know of anyone who has a place in Berlin, who needs a place or something, please let me know. Who needs a place? No, I am the one who needs a place. You're going to tell me, Eri, why are you asking for a place after you've made a video about going through therapy? One, I finished the therapy, so technically I'm good now. But also, I can tell you the problems that I did not have. I don't have any gambling issues. I don't have any drinking issues. I don't have any physical self-harm issues. I don't have any illicit substances issues. I don't have any addictions of any type. That is something that I'm extremely proud of myself for, by the way, and most of the therapists that I have met in my life have told me that it's quite rare for people who have such severe anxiety as I have not to have any addiction of any type. I don't get addicted to anything. Even right now, playing video games all the time, I don't get addicted, so I don't have addiction patterns. So yes, so basically I'm not going to trash your apartment or the flat or anything, and as you know, I'm not really into throwing parties. I don't swear, I don't yell, I don't start the sentences with "you, what's wrong you?" It's more like, well, I feel, which is always better if you turn it towards yourself, people are less defensive. Just a tip, cookies, if you're going to complain about something to someone, a friend, your partner, colleagues, or people somewhere, if you start with "you," people are going to get closed off and defensive, and you're going to start an argument. Anyway, enough self-advertisement right now. Please, cookies, if you know of any place in Berlin, I'm really looking for a place. And my dog is quiet. You haven't heard her a single time, and she's always quiet here at home, I'm telling you, and you know as well, you haven't heard her barking like crazy in my videos. And until next time, I will see you, cookies, very soon. Bye.